Hello and welcome back to the Back Post. It's 5 o'clock on a Tuesday, which means the England squad is out. I'm sure you've already seen it, I'm sure you know what it is, but I'm going to go through it, react to it, start a conversation with you guys. What do you think? Let me know. Before I do that, however, a constant reminder, if you like what we do, to subscribe and like and comment below, start a conversation with us, because we're going to be doing things all Euros. It's going to be great, unless it's not, but it's going to be great. I mean, the games might not be great. The content will be great. We're going to have predictions, Golden Boot winners, who's going to win the whole thing, who's going to be a dark horse, all of that stuff that podcasts do with the football. We're doing it. So come along for the Euro ride, end our years of hurt as England end their years of hurt, and we win the damn thing. Anyway, the England squad is out. Are there surprises? No, there's not really. Players that there was, let's get it out of the way first. There was talk that Trent wouldn't make the squad. Trent's made the squad. We'll talk about that in a second. It's just after we discuss, Pickford, Henderson and Johnson. That's probably the right choice. You saw the drop off in points that Sheffield had when losing Henderson and getting Ramsdale. So for me, Ramsdale didn't really deserve to be near that squad. You've got to feel so bad for Pope, because I don't know what the best choice is, but I was close to thinking that Pope was probably England's best shout. So for him to be injured just before this, devastated for him. And personally, I hope it's Henderson, but also it won't be, will it? It's Pickford. So we move on to the defence. Chilwell, Shaw. Should we do this in position? So left backs, Chilwell and Shaw. There's no argument there. We can't even really think of a Cresswell maybe, but two English left backs that have had stellar seasons. For me, Shaw just edges it with the season he's had. Chilwell's a Champions League winner. Sometimes gets displaced by Marcus Alonso, but two really solid options. No complaints there. 4 centre-backs, maybe 5. Maguire, Stones, Cody and Mings. Kyle Walker also. For me, I'm worried about Maguire. If he isn't... he missed the final. United lost that final. If we take him and he's not there, that means we'll probably be seeing Cody in a back 3 with Stones and Walker. For me, Dyer completely deserved to miss out of the squad. He did. Don't come at me saying I'm biased. Dyer deserved to miss out. But Cody had a equally, if not worse, shocking season. I really like the guy. He seems like a really top bloke, but he had a bad season. And I'm not the biggest fan of Mings. For me, I think Jay's going to love me for saying this. I'd have loved to see a punt on Tomori if we were going to take a player, or Ben White. Not Ben Godfrey, Ben White. Just, Brighton, I know they didn't have the best season, but Ben White's such a versatile young player, and they've played in back 3s. He's played in centre defensive mid. He's played in, I think, borderline just centre mid. He seems utterly quality. A big team should snap him up, and he should be on the plane ahead of Connor Cody. And that's all I've got to say. We don't know about Maguire's fitness. So that takes us on to the right backs. Obviously, we've mentioned Walker just then because I think he'll play as centre back. I think Gareth Southgate will try and build on what we did last tournament. Walker will be centre back. He's going to have a number 4 again. And we've been having this conversation for ages, haven't we? Who's going to miss out? Walker, Trippier, James, Trent Alexander-Arnold. And the pressure's got to Gareth Southgate, I think, here, because let's even just take Walker out of the situation. You've got, him at centre-back, let's say. He can, in-game, he can shift to right-back if we change very comfortably. He's been one of the best right-backs in the country for best part of a decade now. So there's no issues with Walker at right-back if he's needed there. But to have Trippier, James and Trent, what are you going to do? Play one in every game of the group stage? We need to build consistency as a squad. We need to set a team, and, unless we have already won the group or have already been knocked out, sometimes, that third group game changes, doesn't it? But for me, I don't even mind which one should have been left out. Personally, I would have probably left out Trent. Not because he's a bad player. He's a really good player, but he's had an average season. Walker's won the league. Trippier's won the league. James has won the Champions League. And they've all had good seasons doing that. So for me, we're not going to see Trent in midfield. We're not going to see him shift across to centre-back. That's not going to happen. And what I worry about, we'll get onto these names in a minute, but if we're chasing a game, if we're 1-0 down to Germany, if we're 2-0 down to Spain, even if we're like, oh my God, we're struggling against Croatia, you don't want to sub Trent Alexander-Arnold on in that situation. You want to be bringing on the likes of Jesse Lingard, Ollie Watkins, Harvey Barnes, I think is really unlucky to miss out, James Maddison, players that didn't even get a sniff. Lingard was in the initial squad, but I think back to last World Cup, and I know they only got 1 goal each, but the attacking threat from Lingard and Ali, and obviously Ali shouldn't have been called up, but I worry that we've lost an attacking option so Southgate can keep 4 right-backs happy, and unfortunately that's just not how it works. Admittedly, you could look at this the other way, and Trippier's played a lot of games at left-back for us, and is there balance there? 3 left-backs, 4 centre-backs, 3 right-backs. But maybe it's not a problem. Maybe it's fine. But it'll be very curious to see who plays. I'll do that at the end. Maybe I'll run through who I think should be playing and starting at this tournament. Midfield, Jordan Henderson is in. God, he was always going to go, wasn't he? But you look at Gareth Southgate saying, I always say this to Jake, Gareth Southgate made a promise to England fans, and he said that he would always pick players on form. And I really liked that. That was one of the few things I went, you know what, fair enough. If you stick to that, credit, because not a lot of England managers do that. It's all, favourites. And Henderson is one of England's best players. I have no doubt about that. But he hasn't played all season. And this isn't, we'll see how he does, if he does against Austria and Romania in the up and coming few days. But I'm not sure about that. For me, we're going to be doing an end of season pod soon, and I owe Mason Mount an apology. He's a starter for England now. The energy he brings, just got the assist in the Champions League final with a quality ball. Very important. Declan Rice, again, to have that option to sit deep. He's not my favourite player in the world by any means, but I get why he's an option. I get why he's there. It makes perfect sense. I'm really excited about Bellingham. I didn't think he was going to make it, to be honest, a few weeks ago, and then you start to think, actually, with the way the midfield's going, he probably is. And he's ingrained in a different style of football now, and that's what I think a lot of successful European teams have. Players from different leagues with different styles, and hopefully with the likes of Sancho and Bellingham, we start to get an element of that. Another reason why I might have considered Tomori, because he knows. I'm sure there's something in that knowledge of other players by playing them every week that you can bring and help. And I know we have analysts and everything now, but anyway, yeah, I think it's for Harvey Barnes not to be in with a shout, I thought was really harsh. He's had a really good season. Just seems to pop up all the time. Oh, was he injured? Because he's probably injured now. I've said that, so ignore that. So then we'll move on to James Ward-Prowse. James Ward-Prowse. That's a good reason to have Trippier in the squad. I was concerned that we wouldn't see James Ward-Prowse and we wouldn't see Trent. And if we didn't have Trent and Ward-Prowse, where do we get quality delivery from? That would be my next question. Grealish, yes. Foden, yes. But a proper metronome on the pitch in Trent or Prowse. Pinpoint passes, stunning free kicks, corners. Are we less dangerous from those without James Ward-Prowse? Yes. But would he have started anyway? Probably not. No complaints from me, really. Forwards, Kane. We don't need to say anything, do we? England's captain, the best player ever in the history of football. For me, I would have liked... I mean, it was never going to happen, but part of me would have liked to see Raheem Sterling dropped because he's been just terrible. And I fear that this is another season where... another tournament where we could see some big chances fall to Raheem Sterling and him not take them, which we have seen. There's a reason Kane didn't square it to him against Croatia. It's because he couldn't hit a barn door. So for me, I would be starting Sancho and Rashford either side of Kane. I think that's the most threatening people with, maybe not either side, but just behind. Grealish is another worrying one. He hasn't played a lot of football. He's obviously just come back at the end of the season. I think he's ruled himself out of a starting place and been very, very close to ruling himself out of a place on the plane. Who knows what would have happened if Greenwood hadn't withdrawn. Probably Saka would have lost out. And that brings us to our last two players, Saka and Calvert-Lewin. For me, out of the three that is Bamford, Watkins, Calvert-Lewin, Bamford scored more goals than Calvert-Lewin. I get that. He's very unlucky not to be in with a shout. But Dominic Calvert-Lewin is such a hard worker. And I'm not saying Bamford isn't. I'm just saying I've seen what Calvert-Lewin can do, and I like it. I'm not saying other players can't do that, but I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin is England's second best striker. So I'm happy with that. Bukayo Saka can fill in at left back, so maybe that again changes that conversation where we discuss the defence balance. Maybe, will he be playing on the wing? Probably. Will we be looking to Bukayo Saka over the likes of Sterling, Grealish, Calvert-Lewin when we need a goal? I don't think so. But he's a good young talent. It's nice that Arsenal managed to just squeeze a player into the Euro squad after their truly horrendous season. So good for them, I guess. But yeah, all in all, it's a good squad. It's a better squad than last time out at the World Cup, isn't it? Who do I think is going to play? It doesn't matter what I think. Let's talk about what Gareth Southgate's going to do. Gareth Southgate's going to play Jordan Pickford at the back. We're going to see Luke Shaw, I think, alongside Maguire, Stones and Walker, injury dependent, with, and this is where it gets impossible, isn't it? Absolutely impossible. I think we'll see James. So I think we're going to see Shaw, Maguire, Stones, Walker, James. Just ahead of them, we're going to see Mason Mount, 100% guaranteed, and opening game, Declan Rice. Henderson, I don't think is going to be there yet. We might sub him on. He'll come up. And that only leaves us three places. This is why I hate three at the back, because I want Foden in the hole, I want Rashford on the left, Sancho on the right, Kane up top. But with this five at the back system, we obviously lose that. I think we just see Sancho, Kane and Rashford up top. And Foden will be an impact player. For me, 4-2-3-1 solves that issue. We should have enough cover from the likes of Mount, Phillips, Rice, Henderson to defend a back four. But we're not going to do that. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's fine. It's a decent squad, and England have a decent chance of at least getting to the final, going one step further this season. Tell me what you think of the squad. Tell me who you think should have made it. Tell me who you think is absolutely lucky as fuck to be there. And yeah, there's going to be different Euro. Jay's out at the moment. Adam's at work. I'm just doing a little Euro video. There'll be more content with more of us. Me and Ross will be back tomorrow for a Spurs lens. We will be speaking about Harry Kane and his legacy at Tottenham, unless some Tottenham news leaks tonight about our manager, which I have heard might happen. So we'll see then. But until then, come on, England, tell your dad. Thank you very much.